And good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Ryan Weekman in the WTOL 11 Weather Center. It's been a long morning, tracking a narrow band of some showers and downpours, looking more dry for this afternoon. But you can tell we do still have a little bit of rain coming down south of the Toledo metro now. The Toledo area, we are done with the rainfall. Let's pull the view back for you, show you what's happening out there. Temperature-wise for you, 45 degrees. That's it. Here in Toledo, got 48 in Cleveland, 66 though down in Columbus, 68 in Cincinnati, and nearly 70 degrees in Indianapolis. Wow, nice and warm down there, isn't it? Look at the temperature change over the last 24 hours. Michigan and northern Ohio, much cooler than we were at this time yesterday. Big reason why? All because of this, a northeast breeze that's being impacted and felt across the Great Lakes. Chicago's nearly 20 degrees cooler this morning. Saginaw's more than 20 degrees cooler than they were at this time yesterday. You've got to go far off to the south in southern Ohio or Indiana before you lessen those impacts of that lake breeze. One other thing I wanted to show you, just because we're getting some of these now starting to show up, would be the cold that's on the way for tonight. Some frost and freeze advisories that are in place by the National Weather Service. The delineating line, if I'm going to pop this up for you here, basically right here halfway through Michigan, these would all be frost advisories here. These would all be freeze advisories to the north. And that's obviously where the air is going to be a little bit colder for tonight as we are going through the evening. So something to be aware of. This does include, if we zoom down, Hillsdale and Lenawee County under that frost advisory. It also includes Ann Arbor, Kalamazoo, and points to the north where it's obviously going to be cooler. Big reason why skies are going to clear out tonight and allow that atmosphere to cool down so much is this area of high pressure. It's also the big reason why we've got that driving wind off of Lake Erie, so a cooler end of the week expected with, again, the biggest thing to notice, that lake breeze that's going to continue to push off of Lake Erie and carve out a cooler setting both today and tomorrow. We do expect that that's going to relent somewhat as we head into the weekend and temperatures will start to warm up. In fact, a much bigger warm up is on the way next week. Here's the major players in the atmosphere. We've got this high pressure. That's the one we just tracked. It's going to slide off to the east. This is what we were expecting it to do, and we were just looking at that, right? Look at the heat that's building across the western United States. This is a big time warm up, and this is the air that we're tracking that's going to migrate its way across to the eastern part of the United States. That's something that we haven't seen much this month, and finally we're going to see the air shifting and lead to some warmer weather for us. Let me clear this off and we can see exactly what's going to happen here. So put this back into motion. Low pressure does set up across parts of the deep south, specifically towards Louisiana. Now, that's not immediately going to have impacts on us. I want to draw your attention to all this warm air that's on the northern tier of the country, and that's going to infiltrate the Great Lakes. That's why we're expecting a big time warm up for a big part of the country. Now, this area of low pressure off to the south is still something that we do need to monitor. The reason why, it's not tropical in nature, but what it could do as we head over the week for next week, specifically as we get into, let's say Tuesday into Wednesdays, this low is going to carve its way northward up into the Ohio River Valley. That could present at least a chance, or at least our next best chance for some rain showers. Between now and then, things actually looking pretty quiet. A good chance to dry out aside from the few showers earlier for today. Let's run through our hour-by-hour forecast. It says, yeah, cool. Highs only near 64 today. Later on for this evening, this is where things could cool down, and we're specifically talking about areas that are west of I-75. So if you look at some of these temperature readings, 37 in Wauseon, 39 in Apollon, 37 in Defiance. When you get down to like that 36, 37 degree range, that's where some frost is possible. Do you notice how cool the temperature reading is forecast to be? Adrian, 36. Hillsdale, 35. That's why the National Weather Service has frost advisories up there, but maybe not in parts of northwest Ohio. Mid-temperature is not expected to get quite as cool. Now, advance the clock to tomorrow afternoon. There we go. The temperatures back up into the 60s. Not quite as pronounced of a lake breeze or as chilly. And then here we go for the weekend. Notice we shift our wind. It's out of the north and west, but It's not off the lake, and that makes all the difference here, allowing those temperatures to feel warmer. If you're like me, that grass is getting a little bit shaggy. Got to get out there and get the yard mowed. Good chance to do it today after a few of those sprinkles. Saturday, Sunday as well. I know it's Mother's Day, but maybe you'll be planting some of those flowers, getting the yard trimmed up. It looks nice. Overall temperature outlook here also says warmer than average weather, very likely for the Great Lakes. We're talking about temperatures next week that are going to go soaring into the 70s and 80s. High temperature trend continues to highlight this area off to the second half of our 10-day forecast. Well, let's clear this out of here. The second half of our 10-day forecast, highs in the 80s for us Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next weekend. It's kind of a steady progress upwards in this forecast. Weekend outlooks, Mother's Day weekend looks fantastic. Highs near 70 on Sunday. Thinking about heading out to the air show, perhaps. Not a bad way to spend the weekend. And it's not in the middle of summer, which I remember as a kid, that tarmac gets hot. Yeah, it's still going to be very warm, but it's not the midsummer type of heat, right? So 73 for Saturday, 70 for Sunday. Extended forecast for you shows beyond Mother's Day. There's that system. Remember what we were talking about for us for that next system that could bring us a chance for some rain showers. That's on Tuesday. And then after that, maybe a few scattered showers on Thursday or Friday. But overall, this forecast is certainly looking a lot drier than what we've had over the last I don't know, just start to May, last week and a half or so, with those high temperatures also back up into the 80s. Not a bad way to be, trending warmer and more spring-like in this forecast. Some of you might even say more summer-like. So glad to have you along here. Really value you. We're going to be talking more on this forecast for you. Hope you have a great rest of your Thursday. Take care.